Hi, everyone. This is Kelly Price. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Just as a quick reminder, this session is being recorded so that we can share it for anyone who may not have had an opportunity to join this time slot. So first, let me kick it off by saying thanks so much for joining and showing your hopefully interest in becoming a participant and hopefully others within your organization as part of the PTC Technical Committee. So during the next, we have an hour. I'm not sure that we'll need the whole hour. And I see that all of you have muted yourselves, so thank you. But please feel free to jump in with questions or clarity. I like to keep things pretty casual. I think that works best. If there's a question, sometimes you might forget about it later, so feel free to jump in with any questions you might have. So this open house is specific to what we call retail, but as you guys know, that's kind of a broad word. So we really refer to this as really the FlexPLM group, which is retail, footwear, consumer goods, and overall apparel and such. So just a quick background, who am I? So I am the chair for this PTCUSER committee. I have been the chair for just over probably 6 years. So my background is I came from the apparel industry myself. I worked for several different large retailers such as May department stores, JCPenney, Abercrombie, etc. But most recently I was with Chico's, where we had selected and ultimately rolled out FlexPLM to the 3 brands in that organization. And that's when I started chairing the committee for FlexPLM. I now work with Archer Gray, so we're a PLM consulting company, and still continue this role. So I love the opportunity to collaborate with the customers and really help be an advocate for how we can really help the software better satisfy all of the end users and leadership, quite frankly, as well. Okay, so what are we? So we are a nonprofit organization, but we are totally supported by PTC. There's no way we could be successful without the background and support that we have from PTC. So we are recognized as their official worldwide representative. Our net casts really, really broad here. So this is not just for North America. This is really, truly worldwide. We have lots of participants from, say, Sportmaster in Russia and CNA and Germany and really all over the world, which gives us even a broader net of exposure and experience to really collaborate with everyone. And you'll learn a little bit more about what we do when we collaborate. Is this good use of your time? I think it's probably most of the users would say, yes, great use of their time. So we really advocate on behalf of the customers, so you all, the users of the software. And we do that with annual meetings with PTC, we have technical committees and working groups. And I'll explain a little bit about what that is here in just a couple slides. So really the mission is to educate one another. What are you doing? What maybe could you be doing better? What maybe are you not doing that you might want to consider offering as maybe some improved value to your organization? And then really be an advocate for not only the users, but the software, so we can really help support those who use the software to drive better business value. So how do we do this? So we meet with PTC executives. So we have a really, I think that we are extremely fortunate to have an amazing relationship with the PTC product management team. So we work very closely with Kwa Hai, Pam Buckingham, Kiran Kari, Ben, and in addition to, you know, Bill Brewster and Win Grubbs, to really make sure that they understand what our mission is and really help support us. So first of all, and I'm not sure that anyone from PTC is on this call, but on behalf of the Retail Technical Committee, we want to thank you for your support. So we have working groups, and I think this is pretty compelling. So this is something we started several years ago. And a little bit of information about what a working group is. So there are 3 tiers of working groups. So one is a customer-led working group. One is customer and PTC, and one is PTC led. So I want to explain just for a hot second, really the difference between those. So a customer led would be, let's just say somebody has a real need in their organization to improve calendar and workflow. So that customer would perhaps reach out to other technical committee members and say, hey, is this an opportunity that you find in your organization as well? And they really try and build a white paper, a case study to really advocate PTC to influence that opportunity to make it more real in upcoming releases of the software. And that's a great place to start. The next one with the PTC and customer, PTC is, that's where they're like saying, yeah, I hear ya and I'm interested, let's learn more. And let me see, you know, what kind of value this might bring for the larger audience and where that might fit into our footprint and our roadmap. And then the top tier, which I think is the premier tier, is PTC led. And I'm really, really happy to say that all of our working groups have been PTC led. I think the team does a really great job, the technical committee, and really collaborating together to determine what are the very most important things in PTC's roadmap that's going to support the masses and really drive impact and value. So we have, the costing working group was completed, and all of the requirements by the customers who pretended in that working group, and there were about 8 customers, which is quite a bit, large customers, that was released in the 11 version. The sample working group was released March in the 11.2 version, and it continues to evolve, which will be released in December. There's also currently a 3D working group, which is integrations with Clo and Browseware. I kind of tried to blend those two names there. And then we have the bill of material working group. So these are the topics that everyone's really finding is the most critical. Now you can still have a customer-led, you know, kind of that I call tier 1, and then the tier 2, but really getting it to this tier is what really makes it compelling and becomes more tangible. So again, I think that's really great work. And seeing that the feedback from the customers actually made it into product is really compelling. I don't know very many software providers who really listen to the voice of the customer that strongly, or have a committee that really allows the users a venue to share what their desires are and their needs are to really improve their organization. We also have 2 in-person events. These are so great. I'm so sad because right now we should all be together, and we would be together in Boston. So in Boston, we do it either just before or just after LiveWorks while we're all together. So that saves on some travel. And then we do it again in winter time, and typically, I'll say somewhere warm. We had our last technical committee we had in Boston, we had blizzard and we got snowed in. So I think that's pretty wise of the board of directors of deciding we do it in a warm spot in winter. So last year, or actually it was 2020, God, it feels like forever ago, in January, it was in Austin. So we have the January 2021 plan for San Diego. So everyone meets out there. It's a very formalized agenda, which the users create. So I work with the technical committee members to find out what they'd like to hear, what they'd like to discuss, what they want to cover, what's going to really bring value in these meetings. There's typically 3 full days. And then we build out an agenda. We collaborate with PTC and customers to provide presentations, give us updates. I'll tell you a little bit about that here in just a second. And then we also have bi-monthly calls. So, which is great because the 2 times a year, I understand, you know, companies have budgets and sometimes maybe not the whole team can go, a couple go representing. So we usually have, oh gosh, I think we had about 60 people in January, might have been 70. So we're growing a lot in person, but on these calls, we'll have 100 people or so calling, which is a lot of different opinions and insights and experiences that everyone gets an opportunity to learn and collaborate from. And those topics also come from the technical committee members and or presentations. I'm going to pause. Does anyone have any questions? That was a lot of information. Okay, well, don't be shy if something comes up. Okay, so as I was saying, it's really the voice of the customer. And it is, it's not just, your business analyst or your system analyst or your developer or your process lead. It can even be the person with fingers on keyboard, really what are you hearing? Now, oftentimes your PA or your project manager or your business lead may be the one speaking on behalf of your customer, but it's really open to anyone who has an opportunity to join. And there's no cost to join. Now, let me just step back on that cost. So when we do the event, there is a minor fee to be in person because, as I said, we're nonprofit, so we just need to pay for the rooms and things like that, but it's minimal. So again, we identify and feed working groups, really developing those. And then we do a lot of webinars, we answer each other's questions. Again, we own the agenda. This is not something that, someone's dictating to us, so everyone has a voice in what they want to talk about as well. And then we also influence the LiveWorks agenda, so I hope some of you were able to attend yesterday's sessions. If not, you can still go listen to the recordings. But really based on what we hear from you all, what do you want to hear about, and maybe what are some of those things you really would like to avoid? So every technical committee is led by a chair. And our role is really to help everyone, rally the troops, work with everyone, find out what their needs are, keep an open line of communication. I'm responsible for building out the agenda. Of course, I do not do that on my own. I partner very closely with the users and PTC. I encourage a lot of conversations. I hope you caught that at the beginning of this call. I think it's important to really everyone to speak up and be their voice. So we do a lot of roundtable sessions, and we've done them in large groups. We've done little smaller breakout sessions to really make sure everyone is given an opportunity to find their voice in whatever venue they're most comfortable in expressing. And then we also identify areas where working groups make sense. And if someone said, hey, Kelly, let's do this calendar workflow working group, and I'll say, great, give me a little bit of an outline. Let's send it out to the team. Let's get their feedback and, really help them work through what they believe in is important. So really the key role is really communicating with the technical committee and facilitating our objectives. So it's really easy to join. Again, it's no cost. So you just go to PTCUSER.org, and then you will select your technical committee. So over here at the bottom right-hand side, if you were to scroll down, this is a screenshot, you would see TC-Windchill-FlexPLM. That's where you join. And then literally within seconds that you join, I get an email and I approve you to join. We request that you use your company's domain email address. That is for security purposes. If you do not use your domain address, we will deny the admittance and request that you use your company's domain. PTC shares a lot of highly confidential, forward-looking information with the technical committee, and we need to make sure that we respect that, and that's kind of the reason for the security there. There's lots of TCs, but we just have one. It's the Retail FlexPLM. I know that some of you may also work with, Windchill if you have like converged systems. I know that there are some companies who use both the Windchill platform. I say that with air quotes because it has a lot of different tools within that matrix, and then the FlexPLM tool as well. So there are some companies, I know Harley-Davidson is an example, where they use lots of different technologies within the PTC suite. But specifically today, we're speaking of retail. So a little bit more about what we cover in this technical committee, and a quick plug. So we have normally we would be in person, but we all know what's going on and we're not going to get a chance this week. But the technical committee is virtual next week. So it's on the 15th for 2 hours, the 17th and the 18th for 2 hours each day. We picked the best time slot to accommodate all worldwide time zones. So if it covers your lunch every day, we apologize, but that was the best we could do. So I'm going to give you a quick highlight on the agenda for next week, and then I'll tell you a little bit about what we've done in the past as well. So when we're in person, what we like to really do is kick off and everyone do an introduction and talk about really what did you work on last year, what are you working on this year, and maybe what were some challenges and opportunities. And the reason we do that when we're all together and in person at time is because it really is a great way to build relationships and strike up conversations throughout the 3 or 4 days while we're all together. So, if you hear someone saying, boy, I really wish I could figure out how to handle this new costing and I'm just struggling, I don't know where to start, or what do I do with vendor portal? It seems like just such a big task to accomplish. Then they can say, oh, Mary mentioned that over at, XYZ company. I'm gonna go talk to her at a break. So that's really been proven to be a great way to really learn from others on their past challenges and successes, and really how to avoid pitfalls and really commonly come together and solution to some problems. The team is so collaborative. I think sometimes it's surprising. In fact, somebody had joined from PTC a couple weeks ago when we had a call, who is now in a new role and wouldn't have attended in the past, but now attended. And so I asked her afterwards, what did you think? She said, I could not believe how open everyone was and how much information they shared. And it's so amazing because really collaboratively as a team, everyone really wants to see everyone grow and learn. So there's no closed doors. People feel very comfortable. We're in it to win it. And, people build relationships that are really kind of lifelong. I feel like I'm friends with most of these folks now. So anyway, so next week, Kwa and his team will be giving us an overall update of the roadmap, Samples Console 2. So remember, I told you we already had it in production, but now we have a new one coming. And then where are we with the BOM, user experience, one of our working groups, right? And then they're doing the whole user interface refresh. So we're going to look at that. We're going to be able to give some feedback, just talk about it. Does it make sense? Does it feel right? Is it that cool, sexy interface that we're all hoping to have? And then there's some support policy updates. So we have to get all of that information out there too, to make sure you guys know how to best protect your system and your software. We'll also be doing another session on Adobe Illustrator, 3D integration, another working group. See how we're driving this agenda? This is awesome. And then we're going to do some customer polls and updates on 3D. What are people doing? How do we learn from one another? And then on Thursday, we have 2 customer-led presentations. And this is where we really like to include not just PTC, but you guys, the customers as well, to share wins with everyone else. So Jennifer from QXSH will be discussing vendor portal, which I think is just a really timely topic with so much of this remote work, where they have been able to really maximize the capabilities of vendor portal to really drive collaboration with their suppliers, whereas it would have been quite a challenge without those capabilities. So I think that should be a really great topic. And then Cheryl Buck from Brooks Sports is going to really discuss how their business processes and it really was impacted by COVID, and really how they're managing through it, what worked well, what areas do we see for improvement, and really what are our acceleration plans? What do we do to move our organizations forward? Because we will still be here and this thing is going to be in the past and we got to be ready to bust out of it. So those are some exciting topics. Again, you still have time to register, ptcuser.org. Other things we do, I said we have very open communication, problem solving, how-tos. Guys, I'm stuck. I always get this error. What happens? I'm sure PTC community can help with that too. We also influence integrations. So Flow, Browseware, First Insight, Material Exchange, Mesh One, all of those integrations that come with, in PTC software came from the technical committee. It was us influencing them. We want these integrations. We need this data connected. It's so powerful. And then that's kind of it. Let me pause. Any questions, any thoughts? Okay, must be really super clear. Okay, so we have a few other of our board of directors on this call as well. So if anyone has any questions, Frank is on the call. He's the director of our technical committees. Then there's myself, and that is my email address. You can feel free to reach out to me anytime. Happy to help. And then we have the director of working groups. We have our president, Margie. I believe she's on the call right now as well. And then we have Dan Glenn and Preeti. They are on portal information. And then we have our manager, Jamie Lee Button. That was it. I told you it wouldn't take an hour. So any questions? Thoughts? Want to join? It's fun. It's free. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. Again, this was recorded and we will post it. And feel free to reach out to me at any time, kelly.price@archergray.com if you have any questions. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.